Hi there, Aries. A lot is happening in your area of deep intimacy, which is also an area of your own psychological depths, as well as the area of shared resources or funding. So, one of those topics must be hot for you right now, already at the beginning of the month. And it really is worth it to give it a lot of attention and intention and to maybe be more flexible than you thought you would be. We will also talk about money, about consolidating the advances you have made at the home front in the past few months, and also about wisdom. I am Nadia, the astrologer, for people who do not necessarily believe in astrology but who love hearing the monthly horoscopes. And this is yours for November 2025. Now, first off, let's take a look at Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and pleasure. In the first week of November, it's finishing up some business in Libra, which is all about the important partnerships in your life. It's not smooth sailing for Venus in Libra since she has to make a couple of hard aspects to other planets before she moves on into the next sign. And in your life, this may show itself as there are two options. First is you made a decision that concerns one of the important relationships in your life, and you made it around or after the new moon in Libra that happened on the 21st of October. And now Venus is joining the mix and reminds you that relationships can be pleasant, but can also demand that you are pleasant. And then, depending on the decision you made, it's either helping or making it harder for you to stick to your decision. So if you committed to a relationship or to making it better, Venus can reward you. If your decision was more to do with establishing boundaries in a relationship, Venus will demand that you are nice about it. And this is a tricky task. Establishing boundaries is one thing, but if you're not proficient in that, doing it while also being nice may be near impossible for some people. This may be your chance to practice that. Another possibility for this Venus is that a partner or a friend or a colleague is just nice to you and supports you through a challenging time. I'll talk about what Venus does after that at the end of the forecast, so stay put. Before we continue, let me offer you something. I've opened 15-minute surprise welcome consults. They are quick personal readings where I show you what's most interesting about your chart or what the near future might have in store for you. They're 65 euros a piece, and there is an element of surprise since you do not know what I will find especially intriguing in your chart. It's fun for me because I will get to know you guys, and I will also get to talk about the astrological features and combinations that I am attracted to or maybe even puzzled with. You'll just pick your astrology comfort level so I don't confuse you with advanced material or bore you with basics. The offer is open until the end of December. Links here and below if you want to snag one. Now back to your forecast. Now to Mars, the ruler of your sign, your comrade in arms. It starts out the month in Scorpio, which rules your area of intimacy, psychological depths, and funding. Where Mars is, there is action, especially for you. And so this Mars is in the very first days of November, still pumping energy into one of these areas. I will talk about them extensively at the end of the forecast, but now on the 4th of November, Mars moves on and enters Sagittarius, bringing the action and drive with it. In your horoscope, Sagittarius stands for activities that expand your horizons or somebody else's horizons. It could be higher education, science, media, publishing, culture, philosophy, international travel or work. Mars will remain here until mid-December, so it looks like you have around 6 weeks of expanding your horizons in the most active way possible. And maybe it will require some courage, which Mars will be happy to lend you. For example, maybe you will need to fight for your rights to plan a vacation to your dream destination. Or maybe you will decide to try to make sense of an issue that's important to you and to your life story. And maybe this will require taking a course in whatever, and something. An international exchange can also be stimulating and invigorating, as well as someone criticizing you or your academic credentials or your media competences. December will also be the month where a lot is happening in Sagittarius, so prepare yourself for 2 months of sense making, learning, but also maybe of teaching or publishing something. If there is an area of knowledge you'd like to really get into, this month you may find the needed motivation and an opportunity to dive into it. The next big thing is the full moon in Taurus on the 5th of November. It's lighting up your area of personal finance and could be the moment, give or take a few days, when you just have to face reality in terms of how you're doing financially. Otherwise, it's a good time to count your blessings and your money and allow yourself something good that's within your budget. So the story with your personal finance is that it may have been an unpredictable, unruly area of your life where some Aries people were motivated to look for freedom or at least independence. And that in 2026, this mission for financial freedom or independence will be over. And with it, the unexpected turns of events will stop giving you financial shocks. That is because Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, the unpredictable, and the independent, has been working with this financial area of your horoscope since 2018 or 19, depending on how sensitive you are to Uranus. This Uranus, this July, left this financial area of your horoscope, but it needs to return once more right after this full moon on the 8th of November, only for a few months, and then it will go for good. So given this information, and since Uranus will return to work with your finances very soon, it would be unwise to spend too much money. But whatever the level of stability and security you managed to achieve now, it's important that you appreciate it. It will get easier, but what you have now is an important milestone. Now to Mercury. It entered Sagittarius, your area of expansion and broadening of horizons, on the 29th of October. So you start off intellectually well equipped to take on an interest in some topic. However, on the 10th of November, this Mercury is going retrograde. So maybe you are developing an interest for something, or maybe you start working on an idea and then it turns out that you're missing a critical piece of information and you need to take a step back before you can move forward. So this stepping back could take up to a month, and it's totally worth it. If we always got everything right on the first run, there would not be much learning going on. Alternatively, this Mercury retrograde may have to do with something legal that needs to be reassessed. So for example, if you are in the midst of a legal battle, pace yourself, because it looks like to reach a sustainable solution, you will need to keep at it and be flexible and maybe change your approach until mid-December. Now, Jupiter, the planet of luck, abundance, hope, and growth and wisdom, is also starting its retrograde this month. It's spending around a year in every sign, and by now it's already spent almost 5 months in Cancer, your astrological area of home, family, and roots. This means that the next 7-ish months is the time to dream big when it comes to your home and family life, or to just accept gracefully the good things that are coming your way in this area of life. You could be thinking of moving, of renovating, of adding to your family, of just spending more time at home with people you love, or of buying. In some cases, a Jupiter transit here can mean that someone in the family dies, but that for some reason it brings not only the bad, but also some good. Like maybe you feel more free as a result, or you are inheriting something. In this context, Jupiter's retrograde phase that starts on the 12th of November is just a reason, or maybe a pretext, to slow down in this area a little bit and allow your psyche to catch up with what's going on. It could be that you started something related to home and family or wished it for yourself in June and it seemed overwhelming. If this is you, this retrograde that will last for a few months will give you time to adjust. And you may find out that if things move slowly, it's not overwhelming. So dream big, be optimistic about how your home or place of living or family life or real estate situation may improve, but do not push it. Allow for things to develop slowly. On the 20th, we have the new moon in Scorpio, and this one is energized to the max. So let's unpack. New moons are for new beginnings, so the day of the new moon and a couple of days after are perfect for making future-oriented wishes, decisions, and plans. Scorpio rules 3 things in your life, but mostly them. It's deep intimacy, sexual, emotional, then it's your own psychological depths and transformational processes that unfold in those depths. And it's what in astrology is called other people's money, which I prefer to call funding or just financial dealings that go beyond what you earn, spend, or own. So if you want to rekindle romance in a committed relationship, that's a good new moon for you. If you'd like to start dealing with some deeply seated psychological problems, it's perfect. But it's also great for planning something interesting with getting funding, for example, with paying off debts or sharing property. Now, in itself, dealing with those topics is loaded enough already, but we also have other planets aspecting this new moon. The most obvious is that it happens right next to the Mercury Retrograde. So it's not like you decide something on the 20th and then this is how it's going to be. It's more of a winding road where you will probably need to be more flexible and expect that the circumstances may shift at some point. Another important aspect is that the unpredictable Uranus that just retrograded back into Taurus is opposing this new moon, meaning that whatever you start or wish for yourself, it either crossed your mind because something unexpected happened or will cause unexpected results down the line. If it sounds ominous, I have good news. This new moon also gets a ton of astrological support from Jupiter, from Saturn and Neptune, from Venus even. It's basically an invitation to have an adventure in which, yes, not everything will go as planned, but as a result of which you may be transformed and enriched again. This all concerns intimacy, depth psychology, and funding. If any of those 3 topics come up around the time, dive right in. This deep work is also amazing to prepare yourself for the extremely important, formative, foundational years that 2026 and 2027 will be in your life. Finally, my favorite part of the forecast is weirdly sounding almost exactly like my favorite part of the October forecast sounded. It's what the planets in Scorpio are doing in the final 10-ish days of the month. In October, we had Mars and Mercury. In November, it's Mercury, which is this time retrograde, and Venus. What they're doing is that they are transiting the final degrees of Scorpio, helping us work on the Scorpio topics, just like November's new moon, and also getting a ton of support from Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn, and some input from Uranus as well. In plain language, it means that if you start something meaningful that concerns deepening intimate trust with your partner, or exploring your own psychological depths, or using whatever funding is available, you will have incredible cosmic support. But the financial part, if this concerns you, it may depend on how financially self-sufficient you are, because remember that banks love giving money to people who do not really need it. But the other 2 are such a fertile ground to explore. Deep intimacy, your own depths. If you want to deepen your relationship, make it more alive and intense. There is no time like the time between mid-October and mid-December. If you want to develop a better relationship with parts of yourself that were put away and that you didn't acknowledge for a long time. Do that. There will be some back and forth, but it's good. It's part of the process. So yes, a rich, deep month for you to slow down in some areas, but to also to accelerate in whatever it is that is more like an adventure that broadens your horizons and makes your life more interesting. I wish you to have a good one, Aries, and see you in the next videos.